Once you've resized your image and done any other editing you want to do to it, you're ready for the Save for Web dialog. You'll find it in Photoshop under the File menu, Save for Web and Devices. In Photoshop Elements or Fireworks, it's in a similar location. Now, once I'm in here, you'll see that using the hand tool, you can position the image so you can better see what you're doing. And if it doesn't look quite like this to you, notice I've got 4 up, 2 up, optimized, and original. So this is my original image. It's 716K. If I optimize it at these settings, it'll look like this. But the advantage of using 2 up or 4 up is that I can actually compare different settings side by side. So here's what the original image looked like. Here's what the image looks like when I change the quality setting to, let's set this one to 90. What you're doing here actually is applying a compression setting to this JPEG image. And one of the reasons that JPEGs are ideally suited to images like this, to photographs that have millions of colors, is that JPEGs use a compression technique that's especially well suited to working with multicolor images. As you'll see in the next lesson, when you're working with line art, cartoons, or other limited color images, GIF or PNG are better options. So with this set at 90, and again, if you're not set in JPEG, up here at the top is a drop-down menu where you have GIF, JPEG, PNG 8, PNG 24. So make sure you set this to JPEG. Now we can see what a JPEG with a quality setting of 90 would look like. And notice here, it's 122.4K instead of 716K. That is a dramatic difference right away with a very minimal change in the quality. But we could take it down even further. If you notice this third one, and I just click on it to select it, let's take this one down to, 35 looks good. So at 35 you can see it goes down to 22K and it'll download much faster on a 56K modem than it would at 122K. Finally, let's take it down to, let's say, a quality level of 5 or 6. And now you can see, and depending on how well you can see this on your screen as you watch this video, you should be able to start to see a great deal of blurriness and just generally loss of quality in this image. So what you get to do when you use this 4-up option is compare side by side multiple images at different quality settings. And your ultimate goal here should be to get the lowest file size, that is the smallest number of K in your file size, but still have an image that you can stand to look at. So I would say 11K is a nice tiny image for my web page, but I've lost so much quality at this really reduced setting that I don't think it's worth it. This one at 22K, I could live with that one, but I'm going to assume I have a pretty high-end audience for my photo site, and I'm going to go with a higher quality setting. Maybe not 90, but let's go down to, say, 75 or 80 and see how that looks. I think I can live with that. Remember, you can always go back to the optimized one if you want to get a bigger vision of it and just see a little more of what's happening on the screen. The rest of these settings are optional, and again, because I'm just trying to give you a quick look at web graphics, I'm going to stop there. And when you're ready, just click the Save option, and you'll have the option of naming the image and saving it. Let's save it right into our project files. I'm in Chapter 4 in that graphics folder, and let's call this Butterfly 400. And that's a trick I often use when I'm naming images, to name it based on the size of the image. That's the width setting in pixels, because I'll often have multiple versions of the same image at different physical sizes. You might have a thumbnail and then a larger image. So it's just a good trick for keeping track of which version of the image it is. One of the advantages of using the Save for Web dialog is that you don't actually have to change the original image. So if I close this image now and I don't save any changes, my original image should be unaffected.